Hello and welcome to today's session on the future challenges for assurance. I'm pleased to be joined by John Rowley, CEO of SI Global Assurance. Thank you for joining us, John.
Pleasure, thank you.
Okay, so now let's begin. What are some of the issues facing management system certification?
Well, Marcus, there are many. I think to start with, realizing the practical benefits from your certification is becoming more and more of a challenge in the industry. It's all about ensuring the value-added reporting supports your organization's transparency, and I think if organizations don't improve the way that we report and the technology we use to report, then that's going to continue to be a challenge. Organizations understanding and applying the right technology to prevent disruption, manage disruption, and ensure any disruption is embraced in a positive way. Data management becomes more of a challenge. I think the amount of data that we're gathering from clients is becoming huge. The ownership of that data and making sure we can translate that data into practical advantages and value for the clients is becoming more of a challenge as well. And the auditor workforce. The auditor workforce is central to effective assurance and compliance. It's an aging workforce. The advantage of that is, of course, they're very experienced and capable people, but we need to attract younger people into the organisation to balance the workforce and make sure that we can continue providing the service well into the future. An example of the challenge facing assurance is the transition to the 2015 version of the standards. Quality management system, we are 80% through the time frame allowed to transition, and yet only about 50% of the 1 million certificates throughout the world have been effectively transitioned at the moment. So, I think there is either a challenge convincing clients of the value of the new standards, or the clients are finding it relatively difficult to move to the new standards, or they're not seeing the value. They're not being able to capture the value. But there's a real danger that we'll find ourselves when we come to the end of September, that a percentage of clients haven't transitioned, and suddenly we'll have less certificates out in the market, which I think would be a real shame and a travesty for the industry.
So what are the current greatest challenges our auditors are facing?
There's lots. Increasing complexity of standards, whether they're accredited or non-accredited. How do we expect our auditors to stay on top of this increasing complexity, because they do need to be experts, of course, in what they do. The plateauing of the quality management system, so ISO 9001 in particular, adoption is slowing down or has plateaued, has stopped. So how do we convince clients of the value of this assurance so that auditors can continue to grow it? Demonstrating the value beyond certification, I think, gets to the issue of why ISO 9001 has plateaued. Technology shifts, whether they are internal technology shifts to run our business or external technology shifts of how we report and transition to the clients. And then the variety of the clients and manufacturing plants, just the sheer complexity and variety of our clients' manufacturing plants and processes. Again, our auditors need to stay on top of that so that they can provide the necessary value. For auditors to remain on top of their industry and on top of their role, they need to stay associated with certification bodies. Certification bodies can provide a community, they can help train, they can manage the auditors to make sure the auditors themselves, which is the face of the certification, are providing maximum value to the client base.
How can organizations adapt to the changing world of quality and better manage risk?
Change is inevitable, Marcus, so organizations need to work with it, not against it, and I think that's the basic mandate to answer that question. Organizations really, in my view, need to understand where they fit, or more appropriately, where they want to fit on what I call the risk versus performance equation. And what that basically means is that risk and performance are often inversely proportional, in that the more effort, money, time you spend managing risk, there will be a negative impact on the performance of the company, particularly the financial performance of the company. And yet the more you drive the financial performance of the company, then you may need to take some risk. And that might be perfectly acceptable, but you need to be aware that you're taking some risk in order to drive the performance. So there are different places on that continuum that you can be. That may change with different products and services, it may change with different life cycles, it may change at different points in time. And I think you need to be in control of where you're sitting on that continuum. I think the adoption of a strong platform can certainly help manage risk as well. An integrated management approach is absolutely the right way to go. It is a better way to manage management systems and risk than treating each management system in isolation. I think you need to take a genuine interest, and I mean a genuine interest in your supply chain. If there is a weak point in your supply chain and that comes through to harm the quality of your finished products, then your consumers are going to look at you for that issue, not your supply chain. It's your brand that's at risk here. So you need to take a more genuine view of your supply chain, where its strong points, where its weak points, and make sure it's managed in a way that strengthens the strong points and controls the weak points. To do all of this, I think you need to partner with a trusted supplier, a supplier who understands globalization, digitalization, technology disruption, and one who can help you manage that supply chain, manage these risks, and again, put you in the right spot on the risk versus performance continuum.
Yeah, and as previously identified in another video, we sort of spoke about how integrated management systems is a really big point for Auditor and their possibilities in expansion. We just spoke about integrated management systems. Why is an integrated approach so important to managing risk and compliance?
Well, we talked about all the different advances in complexity that businesses are going through now, and an integrated management approach really helps to manage that complexity. Whether it's your own business, whether it's your supply chain, whether it's the advances in technology itself that you're using to run your business. There is increasing pressure to be environmentally conscious and to show a genuine increase in the environment. There's increasing pressure to be competitive. There's increasing pressure to deliver a satisfying customer experience. All of this is while you're running a trusted brand. So, I think to manage this complexity and ensure that you're delivering the right service through all of these challenges, then an integrated approach really is a strong advocate for you to stay on top of that risk versus performance equation that we were talking about before.
What can organizations do to remain competitive?
I think that's a tough question, Marcus, and I think every person who you asked would probably have a different answer. I think different answers will apply to different sorts of companies, but I always think of three different things that help companies, all companies, in all situations remain competitive. The first one is ensuring your businesses, its products, its services are current and relevant. And I think those two words, current and relevant, are important. You've got to stay ahead of technology and you've got to stay ahead of lifestyle evolution. Products and services have to be relevant for today's society, in today's world, against today's competition, and they have to be current, they have to be up to date, and they have to excite the consumers and clients who are going to buy them. Secondly, you have to provide what I would call addressable value. You have to beat the competition and you have to provide a value in some way that the competition can't provide. It might be a stronger service, it might be in an area that your competition can't provide, it might be a lower price than the competition, but something has to be better than the competition so that that value is above and beyond what the competition can provide. And more importantly, your clients have got to be able to see the value and capture the value. If the value isn't addressable, then it isn't value at all in the client's eyes. That's the second thing. And the third thing I would say is you as an organization and your products and services have to be bigger than your products and services as an organization. You have to be more than just the products and services you provide. And what that means is you have to embrace the wider needs of society and the wider needs of the environment, and you have to genuinely embrace that so that you're showing your clients, your buyers, your consumers that what you are providing them goes above and beyond the products and services. It's something bigger than that, and therefore they should embrace your company, embrace your business, and buy your products and services, not just for what they are, but for what the organization behind it is.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you very much, John. It was a very insightful presentation. I think we all got a lot. If you'd like to find out more information, please visit us at www.saiglobal.com or send us an email at assurance@saiglobal.com. Thank you.
Thank you.